Guys, I expect a lot of things to come out the closer we get to the election, so it really doesn't surprise me that someone found some type of clip with most likely Kamala saying something crazy or something. It doesn't surprise me. We haven't seen it yet. We're going to go ahead and check it out now, guys. This is a suggestion via Discord. Name of the video is Unearthed Clip Comes Back to Haunt Kamala Unbelievable. Let's go check it out.
I think we'll have a few more weeks of the honeymoon phase once she chooses her VP, but I do think they'll do a joint interview together because then she has a friend. She has someone who can help her get through the comments and her word salads and kind of a partner.
Well, you have
she'll do the salad
right after.
She'll do the salad, he'll do the entree.
Exactly.
I just want to point out that Chris LaCivita, who's running the Trump campaign, says that his sources tell him Shapiro's out.
Really?
It's Walz.
That it's Walz.
So that
Walz.
okay, so Walz probably, Walz is just as progressive as Bernie Sanders. And that actually, a lot of people in the Democratic Party want a moderate.
Right.
If she picks him, these are two very progressive individuals.
Well, her path also needs Pennsylvania. And you would think if they really want to win, then they would have that. But me and Steve were talking about this off air. I think the concern, this is sad because it should be a matter of principle, is that a lot of their voters are worried about Michigan. And if those voters won't necessarily vote for Trump, but they'll stay at home or vote third party. And I think that's the reason why if they decide not to pick him, it would be because of that.
And you talked about honeymoon. Is the honeymoon over? And the AP had a report out yesterday saying it looks like with this economy cratering like this, the honeymoon could indeed be over because it comes to the reality of what you're investing in, where your 401k is, where your pension is sitting down. The Dow is down 2.6%. NASDAQ at the end of the day down 3.4%. S&P down 3%. They hope for somewhat of a rebound today, but uncertainties everywhere, especially after those job numbers on Friday, that there were three loser days right prior to that. At some point, you have to admit, we got to take action because perhaps the most indicative of where things are going, a year ago, we were at 3.3%. Now we're at 4.3% unemployment. Still historically low, but no.
I mean, yeah, it's historically low, but do those jobs really count? I mean, right now we're currently in basically what's called a gig economy. These are individuals who are basically underemployed. I mean, they need a job. Right? They're doing this because they need a job. And no other company is really hiring anyone. They're acting like they're hiring people. They're fiending like it, but they're letting some algorithm or some artificial intelligence basically just automatically reject resumes and CVs. That's the reality. So unfortunately, everyone is under some type of gig economy, and those numbers are affecting the actual job numbers in the United States of America, bro. Right? The reality. We can pretty much say right now that the number is probably 4 to 5 times the number that's actually being listed if we completely disregard individuals that are doing like engaging with the gig economy, right? Like the food delivery people. That's making up a gigantic portion of the people who are underemployed.
Where's the direction is heading, and it has to change what you talk about, number one, at your convention when you're coming up, when you talk about success, and it has to talk about what you're doing now with inflation and everything else to address this issue.
Typically, before a candidate hits the big primetime stage, there's a series of vetting. They have debates.
9 months of vetting, primaries.
They go through the ringer so they're prepared for the big boy stage when they have to go against the other party. That didn't happen with Kamala Harris, and we're learning more and more and more about where she stands. Stephen Moore was on Sean Hannity last night and said that we may have the most left-wing candidate ever. Watch.
If you look at the major presidential candidates over the last 30 or 40 years, and that includes people like, remember, Michael Dukakis and Walter Mondale and Hillary Clinton and John Kerry, I have to say that I think Kamala Harris is the most anti-business presidential candidate in my lifetime. I mean, this woman has endorsed one policy after another that would be absolutely ruinous to our economy. As you mentioned, doubling the capital gains tax, taxing unrealized capital gains. The one thing you left out, Sean, is...
Wait. She's plans on taxing unrealized capital gains? Increasing capital gains? Oh, no. Oh no.
Don't forget, she is on record as being against modern oil and gas drilling. She calls fracking. 75% of our energy today comes from fracking and horizontal drilling. My hypothesis here, Sean, is that, let's face it, over the last 2 weeks, Kamala Harris has had the most amazing honeymoon period from the media. You'd think she were Mother Teresa, and all of a sudden her poll numbers go up, and I think a lot of investors around the country and around the world said, holy cow, this woman can actually be elected president, and I think that caused a complete panic.
AOC said we should listen to...
Bro, it says 40% tax on unrealized capital gains. Bro, this is not California. Let's please not turn the entirety of the United States of America into California. All right?
we should...
guys, we don't live there on purpose.
Tax rate should be 70 to 90%. And when Kamala was asked about that, she agreed with her.
Yes, she did.
We need to listen to that. If she picks Walz, he was in favor of higher minimum wage. So if you own a business, Stephen's right. If you own a business, this is not your candidate.
It's terrifying.
Well, you're right.
And particularly right now, when everybody's thinking about the economy, and of course, as former President Trump has referred to in his Truth Socials, all the food costs more. Everything costs 20% more than it did when he left the White House. And so ultimately, we need to hear more from Kamala Harris about the economy and her view. And, for the next 90 days, for the most part, the Republicans are going to treat her like the incumbent. And so anytime there is something big, like a potential war in the Middle East, or the economy starts to tank, they've got to ask her about it, and she's got to say something.
She doesn't have to say anything. We know her record.
And you know what, Ainsley, you're absolutely right, and she's getting away with it.
Exactly.
All right, so let's go back. The good thing is we had a VCR leading up to this. We were taping a lot of different remarks. The year was 2017.
It was a Betamax back then, wasn't
right,
it?
You're right, Steve. My mistake. We'll correct that for the West Coast when we re-air the show. In
What is a Betamax?
2017, Kamala Harris has said some interesting things through her career, and little by little, we get these nuggets being dredged up. One of which is her view on something that is radioactive now, the word woke. She embraces it. I don't know what's changed because she doesn't tell us what's changed, but just remember what she used to think.
We have to stay woke. Like, everybody needs to be woke. And you can talk.
It's because the word has a dual meaning, right? Specifically within the Black American community, woke does not mean what it means to the majority of the right. It just does not mean that. It just means awake, alert, aware of your basic surroundings, understanding the depths of everything around you, right? When I first heard this word being used in the way that specifically the right uses it, I was absolutely shocked. I'd never heard that usage in my life. Bro, since the 2010s and early 2000s, that was the only meaning that I knew that word was. It meant nothing else but that. Just being aware of your surroundings in depth, and completely, guys. And if she is attempting to emulate Black American society, then she's using the word like a Black American would. Not specifically someone from the right would use it. Now, the word these days are completely... It's completely interesting, let's say, to hear her use these words back then, right now, right? Because you never really know what exactly the words actually meant coming out of her mouth. Because
Talk about if you're the wokest or woker, but just stay more woke than less woke.
It's unbelievable. I mean, this is the person that is leading the Democratic Party. They could have had a candidate that could explain issues, that could have run on this, even if they wanted a progressive agenda, someone that could actually go there to rally the base. The part that I hate about the honeymoon, every candidate gets some type of honeymoon, but she hasn't done anything to deserve the honeymoon. She hasn't had some policy agenda that is rallying Americans. She hasn't had this stunning speech like Barack Obama did at the 2004 DNC convention. What is her moment? What is the thing that got voters to vote for her? And then I remembered she didn't get a single vote.
Right,
that is the problem.
She has
right
a capital
here.
D behind her name. She's a Democrat. So to me, media is going to love her no matter what. They're so excited that finally they have a candidate that can run against Donald Trump. They were worried when they had Biden in office that they were definitely going to win. They knew they would, lose. They knew they would lose. But this is a lady who wants high taxes. She talked about defunding ICE, defunding the police, decriminalizing illegal immigration, making you give your gun back. She'll give you money, but you have to give your gun.
Nah, I'm sorry. I got too many. We're not doing that. See, this is where like the left instantly loses me when they speak. Under no circumstance am I going to live in a place that's going to rewrite its constitution, basically. I understand amendments, the concept of them, guys, right? But we have the Second Amendment literally backing up our freedom of speech. You're not taking my guns away under any circumstance. We're not doing that. There's no buyback program, none of that nonsense. You lose my vote instantly.
Gun back, eliminating private health care, and banning fracking.
Right, but when you look at that soundbite that we just saw, and Brian set it up perfectly, the question for Kamala Harris today,
What do you think?
the question is this: How are you still woke? How woke do you want to make America going forward? Or did you, like everything else that was announced last week, have you essentially come up with a new explanation for why you're against all that stuff?
Yeah.
I used to be woke, now I'm not woke.
And what caused the change? Like, what suddenly
I
made
evolved.
you evolve on? And remember, Bernie Sanders is now saying that Joe Biden has been the most progressive president, and she's supposed to be even more progressive than him.
So I got one hint on Sunday. Senator Murphy, like they're sending the surrogates out to explain the change. One was when it comes to fracking, Senator Murphy told Jackie Heinrich, he goes, why is she for fracking now? She goes, oh, they've gotten better at it.
Right.
It's safer. Oh, that's right. They finally figured it out.
It's cleaner.
And tell me what, I was like, okay, so tell me what's so much better about fracking today. It's so much safer and fantastic.
Yeah.
Right. So I can't wait for these explanations.
I just get a kick out of the media. They still haven't learned their lesson. I mean, they anointed Joe Biden, and they went out there and he embarrassed you guys, just embarrassed you guys. And now you guys are doing the same thing with Kamala Harris, and there's going to be a big moment, mark my words, where she's going to crumble under pressure, and you guys are going to be in the same boat again.
Lawrence, right now she is completely encased in bubble wraps because she's not talking to anybody. This is part of their, she is joining the presidential race so late in the cycle. This is just part of the strategy. Expose her to the public as little as possible, and let's see what happens.
Just a thing on bubble wrap, I much prefer that than those little small styrofoam things. I mean, he ends up all over the house.
I hate those
then I got to pour them into the bag, and then you got to break up the box.
I hate those.
You know what I'm talking? The little styrofoam box.
Peanuts.
Please, bubble wrap.
Right.
If you're shipping something to me, bubble wrap.
I agree.
I don't want the little foam things.
And
peanuts.
Wow. All over the floor.
Speaking
Guys, that's fair. Just stop doing that.
of Betamax, Christmas time, Dad gets all of us a Beta machine. We're like, we want a
What is
VHS,
that?
we want a VHS. We go in the morning, unwrap, it's a Beta machine.
Right.
Like a year later, we're still at Blockbuster trying to find something that we can watch.
Right.
Because there's only one wall at Blockbuster for Beta with
know.
maybe 10
Is it
options.
bad that I don't know
The
what
rest
a
was
beta
VHS.
is?
Beta is better.
What is
It
a
was like
beta?
Beta was invented by Sony. It was it was a higher end, better quality tape machine.
It's all coming back.
But hold on, it was probably on.
No, it's not coming back, bro. Apparently, it was invented well over a decade before I was born, because they're saying that it was basically also discontinued in 2002. Bro, what? What is this? What's the purpose of it? Extended to VHS. Okay, so it's a device used like a VHS tape. Obviously aware of that. I was born in '86. So, I mean, everyone had that in the early 90s, guys, right? But a Betamax, never heard of this in my life, bro.
Sale.
On
My
sale.
dad's like, here's the VHS, here's the Beta. We're
I'll
getting
take
the
that.
Beta.
Well,
If
Yeah.
we're- if we're going to talk about Betamax, we might as well open a can of worms with Mahi Mahi.
Right. I thought Mahi
He said Mahi Mahi was shark.
and I'm getting yelled at on my email.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
It
wrong.
it's a dolphin-like
Dolphin
fish,
fish.
but not dolphin.
The dolphin
So if I
fish.
said dolphin, it would have been worse.
Correct.
But it's
Bro, dolphin is delicious.
not a shark, so don't catch a shark and say, great, mahi
can eat
mahi,
it, right.
like I would have.
Thanks for bringing up the one argument I had on my honeymoon. Anyway, I'm Steve Duke.
Like, it's a super thick, like, red-ish very irony, mercury, dense meat. Make sure you soak it in milk. Specifically, I had it in North Europe. Here's the thing. In terms of like the hidden unearthed video here, okay, let's just talk about that. It was about her saying that she was woke. Now, do I think that she fits the modern day contemporary usage of the word? Absolutely, right? Once I hear you talk about raising my taxes, knowing that I pay a stupid amount of taxes a year, specifically I own a corporation, and so like it's just like knowing that I pay so much money in taxes every single year, the last thing I want to do is pay more money in taxes, specifically for things that I literally see no benefit in. Right? I'm over here paying taxes while when you need money, you don't pay taxes on anything, you just print more. Right? That's a troubling thing for me to like deal with, guys. Right? But either way, listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Enjoy your day thoroughly. Guys, before we go, are you guys subscribed to the other channels? Logical Movie Reviews with Mr. L. Boyd along with Mr. L. Boyd Music. Both are found in the description. Check it out.